Hear me? Okay, so welcome to our monthly PRLU provider call. The purpose of these provider calls is just to give everyone a chance to get to know licensing and the staff, for us to share information and ideas and to answer any questions that may need to be addressed. And so thank you for taking out a few minutes of your time for us to share with you on today. So we'll go ahead and get started. Again, welcome everyone. We do have members of the regulatory check unit here with Kayla Bodie and her team. And I always want to start with her first, just in case they have to hop off to see if they have any concerns or questions for any of the providers here today.
Good morning. Thank you, Ebony, for having us. And I do not have any concerns or questions. We seem to be doing well on regulatory checks. So I'm going to put my contact information in the chat box. If any of you are having any struggles submitting background checks, if you have questions or you need any assistance, please call me or email me. We'd be happy to set up any one-on-one training. I can send you some guides. So if you are having any issues or you're having any delays, definitely let me know because we're here to help. But other than that, I don't have any concerns, Ebony. Keep doing the great work that you're all doing.
Well, thank you so much, Kayla. Okay, and Jasmine, if you can help me admit those who are in the waiting room, I sure would appreciate it. And it would be very helpful for everyone if you guys could like turn on your cameras so I can know who I'm speaking to and who I'm looking at. We really would appreciate it. So we'll go ahead and get into our meeting. And I did want to ask you all if there were any new providers or any new staff that is on the meeting. If you'd like to say hello so we can get to know you, just please check in with us and just wave at us or say, hi, I'm so-and-so from this place. It really would be helpful. Hello, Mr. Johnson.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Good, good.
Okay, there's a Michelle Breitenberg, I believe that's what it is.
I am trying to get my camera on, girl.
Okay.
I'm still having some technical difficulties on these Zooms. Sorry.
You're okay. And then if the licensing staff, if you guys could turn on your cameras. Okay. All right. So while you guys are getting your cameras on, I did want to ask you all if like, does everyone know who their licensing specialist is?
Yes.
Does anyone not know who their licensing specialist is? We have a few of them on today that can introduce themselves, but we do have some that are out working in the field. So I see Rachel. Rachel, you want to wave and tell everybody where you are and what you cover?
Hi, I'm Rachel Carlton. I'm in Washington County, and I cover all the way over to Newton and Marion County. And mostly I do placement.
Thank you, ma'am. And I see Mr. Clayton on there. Clayton, you want to introduce yourself and tell us who you cover?
Sure. I'm Clayton DeBoer. I'm PRTF for Southern Arkansas. Well, everything south of Conway. Pretty sure all my facilities are more than aware of who I am. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you so much. And I see Miss Michelle Sutton.
Good morning, I'm Michelle. I am PRTF for the River Valley counties.
Can you put your face in the camera, Michelle?
Can
There
see
you
me now?
go. Thank you,
Hello.
ma'am. And I see Mr. Ezel Breedlove. You on mute.
Okay. Good morning. I'm Ezel Breedlove. I cover like 7 counties in the central Arkansas location. I only cover foster homes right now.
Thank you, sir. And Beth Davis.
Hello, I'm Beth, and I think I have 19 counties now. I cover just a little bit south of Russellville down to the Texas and Oklahoma borders, like the bottom quarter of the state or so. And I have, right now I'm just helping out with the Washita Children's Center for residentials, and also, well, I guess I don't really have the compact residential right now. Otherwise, I'm placement for that area.
Thank you, ma'am. And Miss Lakeisha White. Are you saying something, Lakeisha? I can't hear you. Oh, we can't hear you. We'll come back to you. Okay, but Lakeisha covers eastern Arkansas, areas from Greene County down to about Monroe, Lee County. So all of those areas in between. She's mostly on the placement side. Okay, and then let me see who else is on here. Am I missing anybody? Chelsea Vardell, she's one of our supervisors.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me, Ebony?
I can hear you, can't see you.
Yeah, I'm having issues with that today. But I am here. Most of you guys do know me. I have been out to several facilities, and what facilities I haven't been out to, I'm going to be trying to get to them. I am the licensing supervisor over the PRTF programs. So that's where I've been going most of the time, but we do pop in at some of the residentials as well.
Thank you, ma'am. As far as the licensing unit, we do have one vacancy that we're hoping to fill, but that person will be starting work next Tuesday, and that person will work residentials from Pulaski down to southern part of Arkansas. Her name is Tina Jackson, but of course she'll be in training for a few weeks, but so most of you will get to know her as time moves forward. So just FYI on that. So I did want to talk about just in the know, just to get a feel of how things are going for you all at your agencies. So for any of you, are there any positive things that are happening at your agencies? I know it's been like a month since we last spoke. Have you guys like put on any presentations or had any activities at your agencies, or were you just trying to calm down from the summer? Would anyone like to share?
Well, this is Justin Hoover at Piney Ridge Treatment Center. So we've greatly improved our outdoor area. We've added a couple basketball courts, and then we added an additional courtyard that's outfitted with basketball courts so we can help separate our kids. Also, our crossover unit, which is a unit that we designed to spread out our kids a little bit. For those, Piney Ridge can be a little tight sometimes. So that should be online within the next 30 days. And then the biggest news here at Piney is we're in the process of building a replacement facility. So we got our full approval. We're working with the city right now on zoning and our plans, but we'll be building a completely new facility about 7 miles from our current location.
Very good. I know they had been working on it for a few years, I believe. So congratulations on it.
Yeah, it took some time, but we're super excited about it. But that's here at Piney.
Okay. Anybody else have anything positive going on at your agencies?
We broke ground and are starting to pour foundation for a new education building.
Okay, where are you at, Lori?
Jonesboro,
Jonesboro.
CYS. Mhm.
Okay, good deal. Is that going to take a while?
Hope not. Teachers hope not.
Oh, okay. Anybody else?
Hey, this is Charlie from Southern Christian Children's Home, and we're making progress on our gym that was supposed to be done in January, but they're laying the final flooring this week and getting the bathrooms remodeled and things. And so all the world's problems will be solved whenever we get our new gym opened up.
Okay.
So that's what we're hoping for, but we know different.
That gym is going to be a good place, especially when the weather changes and, give the kids more room to kind of stretch out. So that's a good thing. Congratulations.
We survived summer and had a really good summer, and got big plans for opening up a couple of new foster homes on our placement license. And so we also have a licensing workshop planned for October the 11th on giving a voice to the voiceless and spotlighting CASA and different child advocacy groups here in the Morrilton area and what we do here at Southern Christian Home. So if anybody would like to attend on anything like that, that's October the 11th at the from 9 o'clock in the morning till noon here in Morrill.
Okay. And Charlie, you can send me the invite and I'll try to send it out to everyone if that'll help.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, no problem.
Ebony, I
Okay.
got one other thing that I want to share. So it's been about a month now, but we had joint commission in here at Piney Ridge, and as I say, sometimes historically we know that we've had some challenges, but we had joint commission here to do our 3-year recertification. And I can't be more proud of our team. We got a bunch of rock stars up here. I see Renissa down there, and one who kind of led it. But we only had 2 low-level findings for joint commission. And as everybody knows who does have joint commission, they review hundreds of standards. So we're really, really proud of the results of that joint commission survey. So I did want to share that.
Well, that's very good. So you should pat yourself on the back
because it's a team effort.
It is a team effort, but it takes leadership as well. So good job. Good job. All righty. Mr. Antoine Jackson, y'all okay over there on the east side?
Hey, Ebony, we are. We're having an exciting time here because we're implementing a program that we're calling based off of conscious discipline called Go Green. We are, if you know anything about conscious discipline, it focuses on the 3 parts of the brain. And so we're really focusing on, next week, we're starting with our weekly values, our weekly group, our weekly values, and our weekly coping skill of the week. And so we're doing those things. We're also working on our upcoming fall festival with our activities. So we're working on a lot of fine-tuning some programming, really reinforcing and fine-tuning some things with our SRU program, which is still maintaining our discharge success rate. So that's some things that we're doing over here, just really focusing and fine-tuning on programming and decreasing serious occurrences. So we're rocking and rolling over here.
Okay.
In City.
Good job. Mr. Chris Butler, everything okay in your area?
Yes, ma'am. We've been doing pretty well. We've got some pretty big successes that we're excited about. I think probably our biggest one that we have going on right now is what we call Success House. And this is a new initiative for us. It's a house that it's an 8-bed unit that we had licensed for patients who've proven that they can handle themselves in the PRTF program. And they've excelled in their treatment and they're reaching the goals that they have. So we're moving them to a house where they have a lot of, I would call it privileges, where they're learning to cook and they're learning to budget. And in that budgeting program, and they're learning to budget their how many oatmeal cream pies they have for each month. Those types of things. We're starting out with that, but we're really trying to launch this program to where these kids have opportunities to attend multiple public events also, but learning those life skills that are really going to prepare them. These are the kids that are going to eventually be living on their own. And this has just really been a huge success in our program. And so we're still trying to figure out all of the pieces to it and what it could be, because we're really trying to let this be a patient-driven program, like what they need and what they decide to work on in those moments. We're really trying to let them take the reins on that. So we're excited about it, what it looks like, and what it will develop into.
Okay, good job.
I had a quick thing to add there. Chris, I had recently got to see the Success House, and one of the things I wanted to point out in that is the interior walls, what you guys did there for the Success House. That was fantastic. If you want to talk a little bit about that for the other providers to know what you guys did there to prevent damage to the interior walls.
Yeah, we stumbled across a product. Our CEO had actually used it in another facility. But one of the biggest problems that we have is a lot of our areas have cinder block walls that have been painted on top of painted on top of painted. And it really would peel a lot of times. And we just never really found a material that would hold up to the population that we serve. But I believe it's called, and I spoke to Clayton about it yesterday. I think it's LT siding, but it's an exterior siding product. It comes primed already, but what we found is that the primed color on it actually matched the color scheme that we were trying to incorporate. And so we didn't even paint it, but it was attached to the wall, but it can't be scratched, it can't be punched through. And so that material has really been, for us, it's been something that we're looking to incorporate in a lot of other areas in our facility. We're actually looking at doing our 2 nursing stations at the moment in that same material.
Very good. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to share?
Well, down in Monticello, we're not building anything, but I snatched up 2 good teachers from the public school. So we are rolling and going.
Okay. Is your census pretty high?
We're holding about 23.
Okay, well, to everyone, thank you all for thinking outside of the box on how you can make things better for your staff and for the youth at your facility. So please continue to keep up that type of work, and it's a consistent thing. If you have children of your own, you're always thinking of what you can do to, make them better. So thank you all for what you are doing, and we appreciate you for sharing. So it's helpful as a group for them to hear those things. So again, thank you so much, Mr. Butler, and everyone else who has shared. So with that, we didn't want to talk about just the positives, but if any of you are having any concerns that you would like to address, we will try to address those. And if we can't give you an answer, we'll make note of it and get back with you. Or I'll send it in an email just so everybody can get an answer on it. There are no concerns. I'm gonna hurry up and skip past that. So I see a hand. Go ahead, Ms. James.
It's not a concern, but let me make a couple of comments about things that are happening with us. I don't know if I shared this before, but we had our COA reaccreditation a few months ago, and we received our accreditation. It was expedited. We had no ratings at all. So because of that, we were expedited and received the reaccreditation for another 4 years. Also, we're finally fully staffed again. So I'm real excited about that. COVID just did a number on us, but we're back rolling. And the other thing is with FFTA, well, one other thing, we had one of our youth in our, well, she was a child in our TFC program that was selected as a young scholar. And she was selected to attend the Young Scholars Camp in Houston. She scored the highest in math and reading in the entire school. So we were really excited about that. And the downer on that is she got to go, the foster parent went with her, they flew to Houston And when they got there, they canceled the program for some reason.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if it was COVID or what it was, but that was a downer. But we were real excited about the accomplishment that she made, and the foster parent that was such a strong advocate for her and getting all the money together for her to attend that. So that's the exciting thing. The other thing is we have the FFTA chapter of all the TFC providers.
Can you share what that is, FFTA?
It's the Foster Family Focused Treatment Association. It's a national association, and we have of TFC providers. That's the way it started, but it includes several other disciplines as well, intensive home services and some other areas, but the focus has been on therapeutic foster care for years. But we have a chapter in Arkansas. We've had a chapter for a number of years, and our chapter is one of the strongest chapters in the country. But we have decided to have a Train the Trainers workshop for all of our providers to use the same pre-service training for therapeutic foster parents. And so we have that scheduled in October. We did that about 7 or 8 years ago, but now we have a lot of new providers and new staff. So we're doing that training again so that all of our TFC providers will be using the same pre-service training for therapeutic foster parents. And a question we have on it, the concern, it wasn't a concern, it was a question. And this has happened in other states where we use the Presley Ridge pre-service training, which is evidence-based. And all the trainers, we have 2 trainers from each organization to complete that training. One of the things that has come up is if a foster parent is with one agency, say in Washington County or Jonesboro, TFC program there, and they move to Little Rock, do they have to take that training over again when they've already had it with that provider and it's the same training? So that's a question, and I know licensing right now says that you have to, the agency has to provide all of the training. So that's one of our issues, that we would like to have that flexibility to accept the training that has been provided by the other agency, since it is the same training.
If you could send what type of training it is to one of, do you know who your licensing specialist is? If you can send that and we'll take a look at it and maybe we can figure something out. So.
Okay, because there are some other states that have started doing that, since it's on the National Clearinghouse, it's evidence-based, and we're supposed to train the same way. Daryl is on here, he's been involved in that. So all of our TFC providers have agreed to participate in this particular training. So I will send that. So that's not a negative concern. That's that's just moving forward.
Okay, well, thank
ahead.
you. Thank you so much. And it looks like we should be saying happy birthday, Miss James.
Oh, yes, I did have a birthday in July.
Ma'am, take the balloons down.
They decorated, and I still have some of the decorations.
Okay. Okay, well, does anyone else have any concerns that we need to either check on or try to get you an answer to, or?
I've got to get off here because I've got another meeting, but my concern is, could someone send me a therapist down to Southeast Arkansas, please? Because I am fading fast down here. I need some help. So if you know anyone, please send them to me.
Okay. Miss Amy, are you okay up there in Northwest Arkansas?
Me?
Yes, Amy Curry.
Yeah, we've been going back and forth with our emails about the volunteer, background checks and all. So I'm kind of still waiting to see, DCFS doesn't require any FBI background checks for volunteers if they've lived in Arkansas for 5 years, but licensing and FFPSA has changed that to require everybody, volunteers, student interns and all that, to get fingerprinted. So, you know, in the past, they've been filling out those volunteer packets, and my staff has not been having them get fingerprinted if they've lived in Arkansas for the past 5 years. So now I'm trying to see, you know, still get an answer on that. And of course, you know, we don't want to have to pay $40 almost for the checks plus $13.50 for a driving check if DCFS will do it all for free. But the last question I asked this morning was, you know, would they be willing to do the FBI background checks for all volunteers, regardless of how long they've lived in Arkansas? And I don't think I've gotten an answer back yet about that. So
Okay.
it's just, you know, it's always been tough trying to make sure we follow DCFS rules, but then there's licensing, and then
Mhm.
they're not, you know, they're not familiar with licensing standards, and, you know, vice versa sometimes. So
Okay. So Ms. Kayla, we may loop you in those emails, but do you have any different information concerning volunteers and them being required to have those types of checks?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, when you have separate regulations like that, you know, as far as I'm aware, there is no way around doing the federal now after the law changed for placement residential and child welfare under licensing. So there's not much that we can do aside from just have those submitted, you know, and like you said, reaching out to DCFS, because you do get that funding and you are in that program, they may offer that. And then Ebony, that would just be kind of up to you guys as far as using those regulatory checks, or if you would require them to also still be submitted through us. So that would just be something we would kind of have to work out internally as well. I'm not sure that's something that we can do, but it's something that we can look into. And so just keep me updated. We'll see if there's anything we can do on our end. Cynthia,
okay.
do you have anything else to add about volunteers for their facility? Anything else?
From what I was understanding is that the volunteers were going to go through the DCFS program and they had a packet that they were going to submit. That's the last I heard. I didn't hear that they had to come through us. I don't know, Ebony, if you require a volunteer to have the background checks, if they're going to be with somebody, or if they're going to, you know, now if they're going to be alone with the children and things like that, that's a different story. But if they're just volunteering and they're going to be there with someone who has all those checks, and DCFS is not requiring the FBI check, they're just requiring their packet, then, you know, that's up to you all to decide that. Because like I said, that's the last I heard about the DCFS program.
And I don't know if it makes a difference, but you know, now we're not even serving children anymore. They're all adults, 18 to 21, but I guess, you know, we're still licensed. So that doesn't make any difference, correct?
Well, it does make a difference for us. And I don't know, Ebony, you can kind of explain a little bit more from the licensing side. You know, if they are an adult, that would really more have to go through DCFS. It wouldn't even come through us. I mean, you can submit them, the employees that are working with those adults, but they're not, that side is not actually licensed by us. And Ebony, I'll let you talk about that because I don't know about the licensing side, but we don't actually oversee the adult side, correct?
Well, they have youth that are still in foster care up to 21. Is that correct, Amy?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so let me figure some things out and we'll talk more about that, Amy and Kayla's team,
Okay.
and try to get you a definite answer on what you're looking for.
Okay.
Okay, so how's the transition back to school going for everyone? I think some of you may have youth that are like on campus attending school and some are going off campus. Is that going okay, or has it been a struggle? Like, are you having problems getting them up in the mornings? Like, what is that like? Or are they excited about going back to school or not?
So I can speak to that for centers. You know, we have one of our facilities in Little Rock has year-round housing, or not housing, school, and that has gone fine. There's been no transition issues whatsoever. You know, the other two houses have the 10-month education program. And we've seen, you know, some scheduling struggles, you know, the kids struggling to wake up in the morning, breakfast delays, but they're managing it quite fine. It's going to be okay. We just got to work out the kinks.
Okay. I see Miss Heather. Is everything going okay on your end?
Oh, yes, ma'am. They, our kiddos love going back to school.
Okay.
So when it comes to August, September, when they get to go back to school and see their friends and hang out, we find that to be an easy transition for them. So yeah, we've been living on campus all summer together. So it's like, hey, we're all ready for a break. They love school. We kind of like the free time. So it's going good.
Good deal. Good deal. And are you guys setting any goals for your youth? Can you hear me? Hello. Is anybody setting any goals for your youth at your facilities, or like is the goal is graduation, or just to make it through the first 2 months of school, or getting the education, the grades up, or picking up your clothes when you come in? I don't know. Has anybody set any goals for your youth?
Our primary goal for each of our youth is to keep them out of the hospital. So that's a major challenge for some of our kids. So that is the goal, is keep them out of the hospital.
Okay.
And they're excited. Most of them are excited about going back to school and seeing their friends, because many of them are returning to the same school, which is really phenomenal for foster children. To be able to return to the same school the next year. So that by itself is a major accomplishment. So they're excited for the most part.
Okay, good deal. So we do want to talk about the enterprise licensing system. We are still trying to work some things out with that system, but we did want to ask does anyone not have access to the enterprise licensing system or the ELS?
Ebony, I was able to get on here at Southern Christian Home, and I've talked with Charlotte and with Becca and them that what Charlotte's been putting in, I cannot see yet, but we're talking with them and working through that.
Okay, so if you do not have access to it, just send your licensing specialist an email, and we'll try to make sure that you can get access and see what you need to see, or just kind of give you a walkthrough of that system. I see things from Miss Renissa all the time, and I did get something from Miss Debbie Stripling the other day. So we know that it does work, and it's going to be a great tool once we figure everything out. But again, if you need access to that system, just please let your licensing specialist know, and we'll work to get everything straightened out on your end. Okay, Jasmine. Go ahead.
Ebony, sorry, this is Renissa. If I can say, I'm loving it so far.
Good.
Even if, you know, there's a couple of kinks to get worked out, but I think it's easy. I think that I love it that it has a page where it, you know, makes a statement that you have a regular license. So if a regulatory person, you know, wants to see it, I wish it had the date on it somehow, so they didn't think, you know, I was giving them a sheet of paper from 3 months ago, but I absolutely love it.
Good deal. Thank you. So we do have, I missed one of my supervisors, Jasmine Hicks. Do you want to talk a little more about enterprise licensing system, or is there anything you need for the providers to know? If they don't have access, what do they need to do, or what should they be doing if they do have access? Oh, we can't barely hear you.
Sorry, I'm having issues with my volume today for some reason. Can you guys hear me at all now? Okay, mostly just if you don't have access, whatever he said, to just email your licensing specialist. That's going to be the quickest way we can get you access. The people that created the system has given us the ability to add you. We are still having some issues with that as well. There was a couple people that I granted access to, and they said they didn't have it still. If that happens, we'll just submit a ticket to our IT team and get it fixed for you. But we'll get you access. It may just have to be a little bit of communication back and forth since we can't see what's on your screen, so we can know what we need to do to get you access. If you do have access, it should be getting used to, you should be using the EOS system to submit alternative compliances or special considerations or your provider reported incidents. When you submit provider reported incidents, it's basically the same as you've done with sending us emails. It's just being done in EOS now, but if you have any trouble with that or anything, reach out to your licensing specialist as well on that. But that's all that I have for EOS. Hopefully, once we get the kinks worked out and everything, it'll work a little bit better. But I think it's a good tool, and it'll be helpful for eliminating some of the email communication and being able to switch to EOS.
Do we submit our like health inspections on there and stuff like that?
I believe there is an option for you to upload your, like if you get a document for your health inspections, for you to update that information. You can also submit a change of request to update that information as well. So yes, that you do have the ability to update it through there as well. But just to be sure, you can also just continue to email that information to your specialist as well.
Okay, thanks.
The last time that I tried to get on, I don't know if it's been corrected. I was able to get in the system, but none of my information showed up. And they were supposed to work that out, but I haven't tried lately.
Yeah, so that's one of the main issues we've been having as well. So your facility isn't showing up. So you should be able to email your licensing specialist, and they should be able to get it connected for you. And if once they complete that process, if you still don't see it, let your licensing specialist know, and we'll have to submit a ticket to our IT team to get that fixed.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Jasmine. Okay, so now we would like to know if there's anything the licensing unit can do to help you all. So is anybody in need of any like intent training on any specific minimum licensing standard? We can try to work out something and come out to your agency and speak to your staff just to kind of make sure that they have a good understanding of what the rules are for licensing. That's something that we can do for you guys. So we just want to put it out there in the atmosphere. We do have some books available for some of your youth. So we encourage reading and development. And if you just think they just need something else to do, we do have some books available that we can give to your agency and just make it available for your youth. So most of them may not have access to a phone to scroll on their phone all day. So reading is another option for them. So if you like a book, just let your licensing specialist know, or some books, and we can get those out to your agency. It's not a problem.
What are those books about?
They're just different books. I got them locked in my cabinet. Some of them are novels. Some of them are age appropriate materials. It's like, I wouldn't say, like we have Dog Man and Cat Kid for some kids, and The Descendants, and just age appropriate books for some teenagers and some preteens. So have A Wrinkle in Time. Some fun books for them to read. Okay. All righty. Does anybody have any questions? Is there anything we need to check on for you?
Foster parents are required to have 24 hours, training hours. Is there a requirement for the therapist?
For the therapist, I'll look on that. I don't want to just blurt out the wrong answer, and I'll get back with you, Miss June. I'm gonna look that up.
I know the board has reduced the hours from 48 every 2 years to 35, I believe. Is that right, Constable?
That's 30.
30?
Yeah.
To 30.
Well, that's
But
a
I
big
think
decrease.
each of the mental health professionals have to meet their respective licensing requirements, their board certification. Like social workers, the LPCs, whatever their board requires them, we have to meet
Right, okay.
that licensing.
Okay, but I thought that because when our licensing specialist comes out, she looks for training hours on our professionals too.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so which is different from what your board requires, right?
I think those requirements, the licensing board requirements exceed what licensing requires. So I've never really paid attention to the license because our license, social work license, always require more. So we always meet the greatest requirement.
But Ms. James, since they reduced it since COVID from 48 to 30, so that would be like 15 a year. But still, does DCFS, they still are they requiring us to do 24 a year? Or is it just to meet whatever the licensing standard is for you to get your license? Or
I think whichever is greater is what we'll have to meet.
Okay.
I'll look that up. I'm not seeing it right in front of my face. And I'll put it in the email when I send it out to you all, just so you can have clarification on it. Are there any other questions? Go ahead.
The 24 hours that's in there, I think in the earlier years, and that discussion was related to the social work license required that 24 hours or the 48 hours for a 2-year licensure. So since they've reduced that, I don't think our licensing has reduced. So at a bare minimum, since our foster parents have to get 24 hours, I would think certainly our staff would need to get at least 24 hours. So I still require that of our staff.
Right, we hadn't made any changes on the requirements for training hours, but I'll get that information out to you all. Good questions. Does anybody else have anything? Okay, well, I'm not going to hold you all. I do appreciate everything that you are doing for children and youth at your agencies. Please keep in mind to be thoughtful of your staff and know that COVID is around, and we have been seeing some instances where there have been shortages, ratio concerns. So please ensure that you're prepared for when that happens. So COVID is still going around as well as other communicable diseases. So just keep those things in mind, okay? And if there's not anything else, I do see Keisa Smith. Would you like to address any of their providers today? She may not be on. Okay, well, if you all do not have anything else, feel free to reach out to your licensing specialist if you have any questions. You can reach out to me, myself, and we'll get that information back to you. Okay. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.